Hello and welcome to episode 48 of SoccerCraft. In the last episode, I built up this Sun Warrior Temple build with a bunch of really cool redstone doors on the inside. And in between episodes, we built up this path leading to it and the whole cactus field out here. And this is making this area look so filled in. And look, when I'm up on my viewing platform, the Sun Warrior Temple Village does look really awesome, but it's looking so much smaller now, and it looks like I need to expand the sand out in that direction and expand it in that direction. Maybe not that direction, but in that direction too. And it's just so much more sand. I think I've already placed like 20,000 sand here or something, but looks like I'm gonna have to collect some more sand, but not in this episode. No, in this episode, we are going to do a little bit of farming and plan for the finish of this area. I want to try to get this whole Sun Warrior Temple area done before episode 50. And we're on episode 48 right now, so that means we have a lot of work to do. Just to name a few things that we have to do, we've got some houses to put in over here. I still plan to put a house over there because that's where our amethyst crystal is, so I want to have an easy access spot for that. I want to cover over the creeper farm. I still haven't even started thinking about detailing the back of the mountains. And we have this whole area here that I probably should figure out something to do with. So yeah, a lot of work. So let's start thinking about what we're going to do in this episode. In this episode, I'm going to start off with a little bit of procrastination from actual work on this place, even though I only have 2 episodes to finish it. And we're going to do a farm, and that farm is actually probably going to really help us. And we're going to farm up this block right here because I want to use it more in the block palette because it creates a really good texture opposed to the regular dirt. And it is really a pain in the ass to collect. And how I've been collecting my rooted dirt is I come inside the mountain and I make sure there's no mobs around. And I come and I get the bone meal that I have. Here's some. And I just bone meal up as many of these as possible. Ow. And I just go underneath it to try to collect up all the rooted dirt. And basically what I'm saying is that it's very inefficient. You just don't get a lot of dirt. I've only gotten like 14 so far. There's a little bit more over here. And then you have to get all the wood out of the way after, and the leaves get in the way. And these trees are a pain to chop down. I won't bore you with the details. Basically, this is not a fun way to collect rooted dirt. So I've been doing a little bit of research, and RaysWorks on YouTube has come up with some really good 1.17 farms and has a really good world download showing them off. And in one of them is a really cool rooted dirt farm. And here I am on RaysWorks 1.17 testing world, and he has a ton of farms on this thing. So if you're looking to learn about any 1.17 farms, I'd say check out the video link to the description. That gives you a download link to this world. But what we're interested in this world is these farms right behind me. These are azalea tree farms, but I think this one in specific also collects the rooted dirt. Let me see. So from here you can see the rooted dirt right here, and if we look below, you can see this piston is pushing rooted dirt into position and pushing it up above the surface, so it can also get exploded by the TNT chambers which are in here. Now, the whole idea behind RaysWorks Rooted Dirt Farm is that it uses a stone generator here, pushes that along to a point in here where it gets turned into moss, and that moss is what we use to plant our azalea on top of. So we're able to continually get a flow of blocks that we can turn into rooted dirt, and then we can push it up and collect it down these collection holes down here, which pushes these down onto a hopper right where actually we stand. Alright, I'm going to go off and study the design of this farm a little bit more, and then let's head into a time lapse of me building this up in the Avatar: The Last Airbender world. And I wanted to pause the time lapse here to show you what it looks like before you put the roof on. This is the easiest way to see the redstone. So once again, the basic concept of the farm is a stone generator that pushes over and that gets converted into moss, which will then be converted into rooted dirt. It's a lot of conversion, I know. And then it gets pushed along in front of these pistons, which push it up above the surface where it can get exploded by the TNT cannons, which we still have to build. And now coming into the collection chamber of the farm, we have two things. We have this lever up here, which opens up this trapdoor. And when this trapdoor is open is when we're going to be able to place the azalea block right down against this piece of the wall, or stair, sorry, rather, right here. Now, we don't want to always be putting it down with the lever. We want to start the machine with the button. When you press the button, a few things happen. First off, it creates a timer to open up this trapdoor, which will give us the correct time for us to put down our stuff. And then it also, as you saw, pushes this piston along here and another piston along the top to clear off anything that might be on top of the moss blocks that we don't want there. And how that happens is this redstone line comes up to here, which goes into this block here, which will push this piston on top of our feeder moss. And then this redstone line comes off, turns off this torch, turns off this redstone line, and turns on this torch, which will push out this piston, clearing off anything on top of this moss. Whenever an azalea tree successfully grows, this moss block will convert to rooted dirt, and this observer will observe that and activate this redstone line, which does a few things. First off, it comes to the back here and activates this piston, which will push the stone converter along to give a new spot for stone to be generated. It also activates this redstone line here, which will come down below here and activate these two pistons. So first that piston goes, and then this piston, and then this piston last. So it pushes the block here, in front of this one, and then up. Also at the same time, this redstone line goes, which also does a few things. First off, it comes down here to activate the trap door again, so we're always on a loop of when the azalea sapling is placed, and then it comes along here to send a signal up to the soon-to-be TNT blaster. And then the last piece of redstone we installed is this lever to push this observer up and actually start the farm. Now I'm going to hop into a time lapse and get this farm finished. Welcome back, and the rooted dirt farm is done. I've done a little bit of testing with the farm, but before we go into that, there's one piece of redstone that I forgot about that took me about an hour to debug this thing. It definitely, after the time lapse was finished, it was not working first try. It kind of always happens with TNT farms, if you know what I mean. Like, look up there, that kind of just speaks out there might have been an explosion in that area. But anyways, what I forgot to mention was this sticky piston right here, which is used to push the block up here, and that pushes the wood block that might be down in the area there that grows up to an area where the TNT can explode it. So yeah, now that the farm is working, there's a few things that we can talk about. First of all, I only ran the farm for a little bit, and I now have about a stack and a half of rooted dirt. I know it's not going to be a crazy efficient farm for rooted dirt because you really only get one piece per tree. So we'll take what we can get, but I'm very happy that we get oak as a byproduct of this because it's nice to have a good wood farm for when you need extra chests or hoppers. Now that I think about it, a tree farm inside of a custom mountain. I feel like I've done this before. And now that this farm is done, there's one big problem with it, and that's just that I don't feel safe using it. Because of the creeper farm, all of the caves in the area are all lit up. So because of that, anywhere in the custom mountains where there's darkness, something is more likely to spawn. So what I'm planning to do to make myself feel a little bit safer is make another custom cave coming from this entrance here. I want to do another lush cave like we did over on this side of the mountain, but I also think I want to bring the cave down into the ground a little bit so we end up somewhere just a little bit underneath here so that we can have a ladder to bring us up to this area so we don't have to show this area. Then maybe I'll just surround it with like an obsidian box or something, I don't know, something to keep me safe. Alright, I'm gonna get started on that and I'll see you guys after the time lapse. And with this cave, the Rooted Dirt farm is done. I had a lot of fun building this cave and using the Rooted Dirt and finding ways to use the new blocks and new textures to give a really nice custom cave feel. And I really like what I did up here. I feel completely safe now, trapped in my obsidian box. Spam torches around so nothing can spawn, and I've run this farm for actually a little bit now. If we come down into the storage room that I made, I have it so that this is automatically sorting all the items into the correct positions here. And we've got oak here. All of these 6 chests will fill up with oak, while these fill up with rooted dirt. Now keep in mind, rooted dirt farms still are going to be pretty slow, but I'm just glad that I have some sort of automatic form of rooted dirt to begin with, because as you can see, I actually used a lot of it in this block palette. And I really like the Rooted Dirt block. And all the other items from the farm come just down in the last row, completely unsorted, where I can just grab a stack of azaleas and go and get started with collecting up some more Rooted Dirt. And then down here at the bottom of the lush cave, I included a lush pond, and I actually want to add some axolotls to it. These are the axolotls I got from my first little expedition searching around in the 1.17 update, and I hope they like it down here, because as far as I know, this means they should stay down here, I hope. Now that this project's done, we can continue with finishing up the Sun Warrior, oh my god, it's night, Sun Warrior Temple area. And the next area that I want to work on is over here by the creeper farm, where it is extremely unfinished. What we need is a path heading over to here because we need access down to our amethyst shard that's down there. We want to actually go ahead and cover over the creeper farm. I know doing that's going to lower the rates just a little bit, but that doesn't really matter. And that doesn't matter because I have so much gunpowder that I don't think I'm gonna be running out of gunpowder anytime soon anyways. So let's hop into another time lapse of me working on this area of the Sun Warrior Temple build. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that time lapse. I once again got a ton of work done in the Sun Warrior Temple area, just doing a ton of decorations. First off, I put in a few more houses. We completely covered over where the creeper farm is and added a ton of decoration to this area. And in the back here, I built up a stable so I could finally find a reason to use the Minecraft horses. I've never really had a really good reason to use them, so I just haven't. And I collected up a bunch of them and figured out which ones were the fastest, because I've read online somewhere that if you have two fast horses and you breed them together, it has a pretty good chance to give you an even faster horse. Actually, that might be wrong. Let me double check that. Alright, I looked on the Minecraft wiki and I think I'm right. So I'm going to try breeding up these two horses and see what the offspring does in the terms of speed. And while we wait for him to grow up, I can show you the button that I used to make me able to access the amethyst shards. We just got to go down this ladder and it's right at the bottom. But we don't need to go all the way down there to show you that. Just press the button again on your way out and you are out nice and safe. It's always nice to be able to give a build a purpose, so giving this one two purposes is just extra nice. We also built up this custom desert tree, which I'm going to put up the reference photo that I used to help me build it on screen now. And I think I did a pretty good job with it. I'm pretty happy with how it looks. And it looks really cool from the sky as well, so I'm going to count this one as a win. And just all the cactuses all over and the dead bushes make this really feel like it actually is a desert rather than being a Minecraft forest. And last but not least, I connected up the path to the new Rooted Dirt farm and I started terraforming up around the cave entrance to make it look just a little bit more cavey. And now that I think about it, that kind of just reminds me that I have a whole lot of detailing to do on this side of the mountain still, and I have to do all that in the next episode because I'm hoping to get this area done in the next episode. And that is because that's all the time I have for this episode. We're going to end this episode off by checking out how fast our horse friend is, and be sure if you enjoyed this episode to hit the like button and consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Water Tribe out. It feels pretty fast. Doesn't feel that fast.